Welcome to Coder's online YouTube channel. Today we will discuss about basics of anatomy pending topics. Last section we discussed cells, tissue, organs and systems. Today we'll start with body cavities. Body cavities. The cavities or spaces of the body contain the internal organs or viscera. The two main cavities are called ventral and dorsal cavities. The ventral is the largest cavity and is subdivided into two parts, thoracic and abdominopelvic cavities by the diaphragm. It's a dome-shaped respiratory muscle. A body cavity is a space within the body that contains internal organs or viscera. Cranial cavity, thoracic cavity, abdominal cavity, pelvic cavity and spinal cavity. Cranial cavity contains brain and pituitary gland. Next one is thoracic cavity. It contains lungs, heart, esophagus, trachea, bronchial tubes, thymus gland, aorta. Aorta is the large artery. The thoracic cavity is divided into two smaller cavities. Pleural cavity, it is a space between the pleura. Pleura, it is double-folded membranes that surround the lung. Next, mediastinum. Mediastinum, the area between the lungs, it contains heart, aorta, trachea, esophagus, thymus gland and bronchial tubes. Diaphragm. Diaphragm is the muscle that's separating the abdominal and thoracic cavities. Next, abdominal cavity. It contains stomach, small intestine, large intestine, spleen, liver, gallbladder and pancreas. Peritoneum is the double-folded membrane surrounding the abdominal cavity. Retroperitoneal area means at the back of the abdominal cavity. Next, pelvic cavity. It contains urinary bladder, urethra, ureter, uterus, vagina in the female. And last one is spinal, nerves of the spinal cord. The cranial and spinal cavities are considered dorsal body cavities. Next, we will discuss about abdominopelvic regions. The 9 regions are smaller than the 4 abdominopelvic quadrants and include the right hypochondriac, right lumbar, right iliac, epigastric, umbilical, hypogastric or pubic, left hypochondriac, left lumbar and left iliac divisions. The perineum is sometimes considered to be a 10th division. And the first one is the hypochondriac regions. Two upper right and left regions below the cartilage of the ribs that extend over the abdomen. Next one is epigastric region above the stomach. Third one, lumbar regions, two middle right and left regions near the waist. Next one, umbilical region of the navel or umbilicus. Next one is inguinal regions, two lower right and left regions. It contains groins, iliac regions. And the last one is hypogastric regions, lower middle region below the umbilical region. Quadrants of abdominopelvic area. The abdomen can also be divided into 4 quadrants known as the right upper, the left upper, the right lower and the left lower quadrants. It is common to see these quadrants abbreviated as RUQ, LUQ, RLQ and LLQ respectively. The abdominopelvic area can be divided into 4 quadrants. First one is the right upper quadrant, RUQ. It contains liver, right lobe and gallbladder, part of the pancreas, part of the small and large intestine. Next one is the left upper quadrant, LUQ. It contains the liver, left lobe, stomach, spleen, part of the pancreas, part of the small and large intestine. Next one is right lower quadrant. It contains part of the small intestine and large intestine, right ovary, right uterine, fallopian tube, appendix, right ureter. And the last one is left lower quadrant, LLQ. It contains part of the small and large intestine, left ovary, left uterine tube and left ureter. We'll discuss some positional and directional terms. Anterior or ventral means front side of the body. Posterior or dorsal means backbone side of the body. Deep, away from the surface. Superficial, one of the surface. Proximal means near the beginning of a structure. And next one is distal, means far from the beginning of a structure. Inferior means below another structure, superior above another structure, medial pertaining to the middle of the nearer the medial plane of the body, lateral means pertaining to the side. Next, planes of the body. There are three planes of the body. Coronal or frontal plane separate the front and back of the body. Sagittal or longitudinal plane separates the left and right side of the body. Transverse or axial plane separates the upper and lower half of the body. Frontal plane that divides the body or structure into anterior and posterior portions. Sagittal lengthwise vertical plane that divides the body or structure into right and left sides. Transverse plane running across the body parallel to the ground. It divides body or structure into upper and lower portions and is also called cross-sectional plane. Next one is the divisions of the back or spinal column. There are 5 regions: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccyx. Spinal column is composed of a series of bones extending from the neck downward to the tailbone. Cervical bone, there are 7 cervical vertebrae. Thoracic, there are 12 thoracic vertebrae. Lumbar, it is between the ribs and the hip bone. There are 5 lumbar vertebrae. Sacral bones are fused to form one of the bone of the sacrum, S1 to S5, and coccygeal or coccyx. It is a small bone composed of 4 fused pieces. Hope you all understood this. If you like, please subscribe my channel to get more notification. Thank you.